Good morning, this is Stretford, Paddock. I'm Casey and I'm outside Old Trafford with today's news. It's a chilly morning, so as I always say, if you're indoors, grab a drink, get warm, get cosy, and we'll go through the news and just have 10 minutes of just chatting about United. Because there's actually a bit of transfer news from a Tier 1 journalist, and that is a bit interesting now the transfer window's closed, but obviously we're going to have January soon. There's Amad Diallo, Traore's coming in that, and then we might make a couple more signings. You never know. It's United. But we'll have a see. Christian Falk has said that United and Chelsea have a new transfer rival, Bayern Munich, in trying to sign Denis Zakaria, who is a defensive midfielder. I think he's 22 to 23 years old, Swiss, from Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's a highly touted defensive midfielder. A lot of people have compared his style of play to like that of Fernandinho. He gets himself a bat up the pitch quite a lot. He's very good in the tackle. He's very good on the ball. When you sort of see Bayern Munich linked with a German player, it becomes a bit of a, well, we know where this is going to end up, don't you? Because you see it all the time, all these young talents coming through the German system, and they just happen to go by Munich. You had Leon Goretzka, you had Lewandowski back in the day, you had Goetze, Gnabry. Like, everyone ends up at Bayern Munich. The only person not ended up at Bayern Munich is Marco Reus, of those sort of top-level talents in Germany. But in terms of stats, 2 goals, 2 assists last season, 3.8 tackles, combined tackles per 90 in the Bundesliga. He'd be a very good option. He'd offer something else. He kind of would be the mixture of Matic and Fred, sort of the energy and ability to get about that Fred offers, which he did very well against PSG. And apparently Troy Deeney, in an interview, because he's now joined TalkSport, said that, Fred's terrible, he gives the ball away so much, and we exploited that. And I was like, well, Fred's playing in a Champions League game against PSG and playing exceptionally well, and you're now on TalkSport. But yeah, that was a fun one. But yeah, he has that energy that Fred brings, but also that defensive solidity that Matic brings, and he's obviously young, and that kind of helps a lot. I don't know. Obviously, Chelsea are interested. They've been looking for a defensive midfielder. They were looking at Declan Rice, and a little bit more than we were looking for a defensive midfielder. And also, as I said, Bayern Munich, German talent, kind of goes together like, I don't know, jam on bread. Or jam on toast. I don't know why I said bread, but we'll go on with that. Anyway, moving on to what was a big breaking story, but no one was kind of surprised about how it went, was the United finances for the quarter were released yesterday, and Manchester United apparently were hit by 70 million in lost revenue, and Ed Woodward took this chance to blame the government, which is it seems to be just a common theme at the moment, that the government is at fault for a lot of things. But this is what Ed Woodward said. He said that obviously there was mixed messages about whether he would be able to open the ground. A lot of grounds thought they would allow fans back in this month. That won't be till March. So this is all. Then it was leading to the government saying this is causing a loss of revenue. We need more clear guidance. In terms of that finances, our turnover fell to 509 million, which is down 120 million. This is due to the coronavirus. The debt soared by 270 million, up from 204. I think I've read it was about 130-something% rise on the debt, which kind of leads into the fact that the Glazers borrowed some more money, which we thought was going to be put into signings, and then it wasn't. And obviously the Glazers have currently got their dividends paid out. They got 11 million, which was paid to every shareholder, mainly the Glazers, which some United fans were obviously saying, Glazers taking more money out. Yeah, they are. It's not a shock. But one of the notes to saying, just in the name of just keeping it factual, the dividends were agreed before the coronavirus, for this sector, were agreed before the coronavirus effects had been fully seen and all that sort of thing. It'll be the future ones that you'll see whether the coronavirus is affected, whether they'll take dividends out. But as most United fans would probably say, they wouldn't be surprised if they did. That's probably the best way to look at it. But at the moment, the ones they took out at the moment aren't affected by coronavirus. The decision was taken before that, just in the obviously in the realms of keeping things factual. In the sort of sense of that, Edward Wood goes on to talk about the trial return for fans on the Crystal Palace game. He was hoping to get 12,000 fans in because he's been working in a COVID-secure environment. That's probably even less likely to happen now that Manchester have gone into Tier 3. And he says that crowds have been permitted to return in varying degrees over 20 European countries, as we saw last night in the Shakhtar Donetsk Real Madrid game. Shakhtar surprisingly won the game 3-2, but they did have some fans present, and it was very weird to see. Actually, it was incredibly weird to see after so many months actually having real people in the game and not some random cardboard cutout of like next door's neighbour's dog just randomly sat in a seat. But yeah, it was really interesting to see. A couple of the revenue drops were to do with not being in the Champions League, which was expected, and there's other sort of things. Apparently our commercial revenue went up by a small percentage. Again, it's just kind of we lost a lot of money, and we're probably going to continue to lose money going forward with the lack of people in the ground. So it's very interesting to see how that goes. But the main thing is are the Glazers going to continue to take dividends out of the club, where many companies have stopped that due to the fact that, well, basically everyone's leaking money from all sides. On to the next story, and it regards Mason Greenwood. Now, Mason Greenwood has not been around the first team for the last 2 matches, and according to the Times Sport, United have told Mason his behaviour needs to improve. Apparently, the indiscipline, it's like turning up late to training, and a couple of how he's dealing with other teammates. They're going to deal with it internally, but they keep saying, obviously, it's going to be injury because, as we've kind of seen, Solskjaer's not the sort of manager to kind of out his players a la Mourinho style. He's going to probably deal with this internally. They're going to be trying to get his head back straight, kind of stick him around the right people, Fernandes, Rashford, obviously Maguire, those sort of people who will try and direct him the right way and hopefully get him back in the team soon. And that's obviously at the moment, he obviously needs to do that because there's other forwards coming in. We've obviously got Cavani now, we've got Martial, we've got Rashford, we've got Pelistri, Mata can play out on the right, Dan James has played there before. It's not like him not being in the team causes us great distress sort of thing. I'd rather see him in the team, and he's a great forward, and he has that great goal scoring ability that we saw going into the end of the lockdown, or after the lockdown and the end of the season. But at the same time, I feel like Solskjaer has options that he can easily drop him and tell him he needs to sort himself out. So we'll have to see how that develops. Moving on through this week, we're going to obviously have the watch along. We've got the game coming up against Chelsea. We're going to do a preview for that. Then we've got the watch along. Tuanzebe obviously had a great game on Tuesday, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been singing his praises. He's been saying, he's a great centre-back, he's a great leader. We knew he had a great leader, and it's great to see him come up. So we're hoping that he'll get to play more. Maybe Ole will stick with the three at the back system he's been playing. That worked quite well against PSG. Might go for the same thing against Chelsea. He tried that in the FA Cup with a weaker team. We might see it with a stronger team. You never know. Obviously, another person singing the praises was Kingsley Coman, played for Bayern Munich last night, scored 2 goals, was linked with United, and he obviously sang Paul Pogba's praises, said that he's a great teammate and he always works well for the team and he always will try for the team. And Paul Pogba has also spoke about his sub role, and he said that the manager got it right. A lot of the players have been backing Solskjaer recently. They've been saying the manager got it completely right. He told me what my role was, and we played it perfectly, and he was happy to get the win against PSG. But yeah, the game against Chelsea, we're going to have the preview, the watch long. We've got content all week on Stretford Paddock. Just going to be talking through it, and then after the match we'll have the 7 things. We will either win, loss, draw. We don't know what's going to happen against Chelsea. Hopefully another win. But as always, I've been Casey. This is Stretford Paddock. We're outside Old Trafford. See you next time.